welcome back to another Menu Monday. And this week I've got some fun recipes for you. Queso chicken, and then I'm going to make some meatloaf muffins with piping on top. And then I have a taco soup for you, and then, a new spaghetti using sausage to make the meatballs. Very, very good. So without further ado, let's get cooking. Alright, so for our queso chicken tacos, first thing you do is put your chicken in the crock pot. I cut mine in half because they were rather large. So I used this whole chicken breast cut in half, and then I cut another one in half and used it. So I had 3 halves in the bottom of my crock pot. Now we're going to add the other ingredients. We have 1 can of Rotel, and then we're going to do 1 cup of queso cheese. You can use any kind that you like. I got this in the dairy department. It was really, really good. But you can use the queso that's in the chip department that's not refrigerated. Anything will work. And last but not least, 1½ tablespoons of taco seasoning, or you could just get a package. You can cook this on low 5 to 6 hours or high for 4. I chose the low setting for mine. Once the chicken's cooked, you're just going to shred it and return it to the slow cooker, or what I did and just do it inside the slow cooker. I just had to be careful not to tear the bag. You can serve these on tortillas, which was what Big Daddy did, and I served mine on restaurant style chips, and it was like a salad. It was also really good. This chicken had a fantastic flavor with that queso cheese, and I hope you give it a try. Alright, the first thing we're going to do is get our hamburger and put it in a bowl. And then we're going to cut up an onion and fry that up with some garlic. Now we had a neighbor over, and unfortunately I did not record the mixing of the hamburger with the onions and garlic, but basically you just mix it together and then divide it up between 12 muffin tins or muffin cups. I had 2 6-tin sizes here. Now when it did come out, this was awful greasy. I haven't experienced that before. I think I usually use a very lean hamburger, and I would suggest doing that, so I just took as much grease out as I could, got my mashed potatoes and put that on top. Not a fancy way to do it. I have done it before with a proper piping bag and a nice tip, but this was fast and easy, and it did taste delicious. I hope you give it a try, and it's a lot of fun if you have company too. The ingredients at the end here were for sweet potato muffins. I'm also on my website going to leave you the recipe for the muffins that I did in the past with the white potato. They're both very good, so you can use either one. for a super simple dinner, we're going to make some taco soup in the crock pot. The first thing you want to do is brown your meat. Now this can be done with ground beef, ground chicken, ground turkey. I chose chicken. Now this particular crock pot, you can use the insert on the stove, but don't do that if you have the regular crock pot. You'll cook it in a pan and then put it in the crock pot to finish. Now because I used a ground chicken, I'm having to add a little oil because it was sticking on the bottom, but that took care of it. Once your chicken is, or your beef is cooked, whichever you're using, drain out any excess grease and then add the rest of the ingredients, which is the cans and the seasoning. None of the cans get drained, so we're putting in each one at a time. Now that you have everything in there, all you're going to do is give it a mix, put the lid on and cook this. You can do either 3 hours on high, which is what I did, or you can do 4 to 6 hours on low, whichever is more convenient for you. And then you just dish up. We both enjoyed this very much. We had 2 bowls each. I hope you give it a try. Super simple and very tasty. The first thing to do for this meal is to cut your sausage into 16 pieces. Now I used 1 pound of Italian sausage instead of getting it with the casing on, but you can do it either way. The only thing I did that I won't do in the future is this was still somewhat frozen, so I put it in the microwave to defrost it and forgot about it, so it got a little overcooked on the edges. So those meatballs I had to really work on to get them round. Anyway, besides the point, you're going to roll these up into 16 little meatballs. Now we're going to set our Instant Pot on saute high and put in some olive oil. We're going to put the meatballs in and then cook them for about 2 minutes, and then we flip them over and add some garlic, and then cook them on the other side until they're tender, about 1 or 2 more minutes. It didn't say this in the recipe, but I think it's important to get your burnt on foods off the bottom of the pressure cooker before you set it to pressure. I've heard you can get burn notes, so I made sure that all my bits of sausage that had stuck on the bottom were loose, and then I got some of the grease out because I had to use extra olive oil to get everything browned up, so I wanted to get that out. On the ingredients it said to take your spaghetti and cut it in half, but I saw this half-size spaghetti at the store and I thought perfect, so we just put, let me check, 8 ounces of spaghetti in, so I only used half the pasta in the box. We then put in the tomato puree, and then we're going to add some water, and then some basil and red pepper flakes and some salt. After which, we're going to make sure all the spaghetti is submerged so that it will cook during pressure. Set that to seal and pressure for 6 minutes, which it was already set on 6. After the 6 minutes, we do a quick release. We're going to now stir in our Parmesan cheese. The noodles looked stuck together to me at first, but as soon as I started stirring, they all came apart, so they were definitely done. And I did get a fork and get one out just to make sure that it was cooked through, which it was. Now this pasta sauce, which really is just tomato puree with some seasonings, was delicious. And of course I loved the sausage meats. I think sausage has such good flavor. So I'll definitely be making this again, and I hope you give it a try. As always, ingredients at the end of each clip, and then on my website, which will be linked down below in the comment box, will take you to the directions and ingredients for all the recipes that I've done today. I hope you guys enjoyed this week's meals. I have put my steps down below in the comment box again. I was actually a week behind, so I'm caught up now. This week was better than last week because the rain quit. And I'm hoping now that the rain's gone, I'll be able to do some more walking every day. So we have a big field. Oh yes, we've moved. That's coming up in a future video. But there's a big field, and so I'm walking that right now. If you made it to the end of this video, please leave me a dog emoji. They're enjoying the field too. Alright guys, I'll see you next Monday. You have a wonderful week. Love you.